Hello and welcome to the Are We There Yet podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Abraham, and I am here today with Richard and Anita Kaiser. I'm really excited to have some fellow Canadians on the show with us today. And what's really exciting about Richard and Anita is that they are just literally about to go on their trip in their RV. So they've just been in the middle of selling everything, and they're about to hit the road moving into their RV. So if we want to get a glimpse into what it's really like, these guys are right in the midst of it, and this is perfect timing to get all the stress and all the craziness that goes on with, selling your life belongings and moving into an RV for a trip. So they're taking their 11-year-old daughter with them, and they're leaving. And Richard and Anita, their background has been they had an eco store for 5 years, and now Anita is in the wellness industry, and Richard takes care of the tech. So they're going to be blogging about their whole trip on the rv365.com. And you can find Anita's wellness blog at anitakaiser.com. So welcome, guys, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Well, welcome. And so let's just dive right in. What inspired this life change for you guys?
So we were at the World Schooling Conference in Mexico earlier this year, and it was just a random sequence of events that brought us to that. We'd actually never considered this prior to that, and really didn't even know what that all meant when we arrived in Mexico. And after the week being in Mexico and meeting so many incredible people, and really starting to think about all the different ways that we could make this work, and the amazing learning opportunities for our daughter, we started to formulate this plan. And we had actually considered RVing with like a caravan many years ago when our daughter was 3 or 4, but it just didn't work out at that time.
So yeah, it really inspired us to see that people had already done this, and much bigger families than us. I mean, some of them have 4 or 5 kids, and they've managed to get on the road and live independently. And so that was really inspiring to see that, it can happen. If you put your mind to it, you can do what you want to do. And we really enjoyed listening to the discussion with the other people that were there, and it just got our wheels turning and thinking we could do this. And we sort of started planning it, but on a very informal basis. We weren't quite sure exactly when we were going to do it, but it was the launch for us was just to get thinking and move towards that goal.
Awesome. Now, that was earlier this year that you were at the conference, is that right?
That was in April.
Wow. So this has really been like a quick decision and move for you guys. So congratulations. I know my husband and I talked about this for over a year before we made any action. So great, good for you guys for jumping on it. And so now you sold your house, and your plans are that you're going to be permanently in your RV, or what's your future look like?
Well, what we did is one of the big decisions was, what do we do with our house? And a lot of people we met, they completely go all in. They sell their house and they're gone, and they don't know what's going to happen after that. And we decided for us, we weren't really sure if we wanted to come back to the area or not. And so in the end, we decided we would rent our house. So we used a rental agency to help us out with that, so tenants, and figure out what the best rooms were there. Go hundreds of miles from home to take care of the property. So that was the route we decided to go, and that leaves us kind of flexible. In the end, after a year, we may want to come back or we may not, but at least if we do want to come back, we have a house waiting for us if that's the case. So
the thing in our real estate market is it's cooled down a little bit, as the whole market has in Canada now, but it was really hot when we initially decided to do this, and we were worried that we wouldn't be able to get back in if we came back. So we just felt that was a safer bet.
That was definitely our fear when we sold our house in Vancouver. Is the market is crazy. Our house went up 2.5 times its property worth in 6 years. So I think we've sold ourselves out of the market for now, unless something drastically changes. But we're okay with that for now. We'll see you down the road. So it's funny. I like the idea of renting too. I think that was a really good idea. That was something we considered as well too. Now, how about your daughter? How does she feel about leaving her friends at school for a year and going on this adventure with you guys?
Well, for us, we've been homeschooling all along. So I think she has quite a wandering spirit, and we've moved already a few times in her lifetime, different cities, different houses, and she really likes that. And when we threw this idea out to her, she was like, let's go tomorrow, I think she left the next day. As long as we're together and she knows that there's adventure coming, she's pretty excited.
Well,
That's amazing.
Made it a lot easier for us. We didn't have to worry about it taking her out of school or what our plans were going to be on the road. We're already doing that now, so it's very easy for her to do a schoolwork anywhere. She's location independent when it comes to schooling, so that was one piece of it that was completely taken care of for us and made the decision a lot easier.
That's perfect. And that's really great. And so now you mentioned World School at the beginning of our conversation a little bit. Can you tell people that don't know what World Schooling is, maybe a little bit about it?
Sure. So what we learned in Mexico was that World Schooling, it's a lifestyle where you're allowing the children to be taught by being out into the world. So you take them traveling to different places. Maybe you live there. There's all different kinds of ways to do it. Some people slow travel, some people fast travel, some people fly by airplane and live for 6 months, right? For us, we chose to do it with the RV, where we get to see a large portion of America and a large portion of Canada and just really experience that. So it's not just, oh, this is a book or a video of what there is. She can actually feel it, taste it, touch it. That's a whole different kind of learning, and the inspiration and the ideas that I think are opened up in that way.
Right. Another one of our guests, Julie Gauthier, she took her teenagers for their American history classes through everywhere they were talking about as they were going. It was really cool. And I think she said they just thought that was really neat because they could be at each of the towns they were talking about through the American history, which was really, really fascinating way of doing it. And I agree with you. I think that's such a great way of learning as a student, is to be there and experiencing things. And really, it's much better than reading it out of a textbook, right?
Absolutely.
That's great. So now your daughter's excited to go on this trip. You guys are getting ready to go. Where are you right now? You're about to get into the RV, and what's things like right now?
Well, chaotic, I guess, would be the way to describe it. There's been so much work to get ready for this, and we really compressed the timeline. Because originally, we were thinking April of next year would be when we would start this adventure, which would have given us a few months to get ready. But we really compressed it. I ended up being laid off from my job, so I thought, well, this is a great opportunity for us to move the timeline up and get started right away. And that's why we're heading down to the U.S. First, because originally the plan was to visit Canada. We haven't really traveled much in our own country, and we wanted to see Canada. But Canada gets pretty cold in the wintertime, so October is not a good time to set off across Canada. So we decided we would head south instead and then work our way back to BC and then across Canada as the weather got warmer. So that was initially our plan. So the fact that we've taken a plan that was going to be 6 to 8 months long and compressed it down to 2 months, it has meant that we've had to really get everything done in a very, very short period of time, and that's put a lot of stress on us. But we're at the point now where we're a couple of days away. We pretty much have emptied the house out. We've got the trailer in the driveway. We're going to have our dry run, I think, sleeping in the trailer tonight. Remember, we've never RV'd at all before. 0. So we haven't even in our new trailer spent a night in there yet. So this is our test of the trailer. We'll find out if we have everything we need, if there's things missing. We're still here. We still have a home base for a couple of days to be able to figure those things out and equip the trailer the way we need it to be. So the house is rented. It's pretty much empty. We've gone through all of our belongings and decided what's going with us. We are the weight in the trailer, so we're We're being very careful to try to select the things that we absolutely need or that we absolutely love and we on the trip. So we've done all those things. And we've done things like take care of our travel medical insurance and our looking after our shutting down everything we have to get to the house. So we've been on the phone with the utility companies, all that kind of thing, just getting ready for that. What else have we done? We've done a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, it's been pretty stressful leading up to these last days. But we're 3 days from pulling out of the driveway. So dry run, as Rich said, and then on the next couple of days, then we pull out.
And you still had time to talk to us today, so thank you for fitting us into your busy schedule. This is perfect because you guys are still talking to each other. You're still laughing about it. You still want to go on the trip, so that's really good news. And it seems like you're set up for a good adventure. So have you mapped out your trip yet, or are you just going to go where the wind takes you? Obviously, you've had to change your plans already, and then now because of some weather that we've had recently, you might change your plans a little bit again. But have you mapped out how far and how much in advance?
We've mapped out the first month, just the first few stops, and we've even mapped that far specifically just because of the border. Mm-hmm. We really want to take it a little bit more relaxed and stay if we like it, and go if we don't in a specific spot. But we did map, we're leaving Canada on Thanksgiving weekend, our Canadian Thanksgiving, and then heading down North Carolina, South Carolina, and just the tip of Florida. We'll see just the upper half there and see what happens from there.
Awesome. And we might cross paths somewhere along there. So we're going down from BC in November to California. So we might cross somewhere in there.
That would be great. Awesome.
Yeah, that would be great. So you guys, can you give us a last couple of tips for people that are looking at doing this as a lifestyle? Maybe they're thinking about it. What made you guys go from thinking about it to let's do this? And what are a couple tips for people?
I'll tell you the big thing for me, when we got back from Mexico, I started telling everybody. I told everybody we were going to do this. And I said we were going to do it next year, but I told everybody we were going to do it. And that made us do it. There was no backing down after that. So we also told our daughters. So that increases the pressure, right?
Right.
I think lots of people in our family didn't believe we were actually going to get it done, but here we are.
Public commitment. That's good.
Making the initial decision you're going to do it is really an important one. A lot of people might be thinking about doing something like this, but you just got to make the decision and you figure out how you're going to make it happen. But I think announcing the decision is a great way to let everybody know that's what's going to happen. And it doesn't have to be 2 months like ours is. It could be 8 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. Whatever works for that particular individual. But you've got to at least get it moving. Get it started and you're going to make it happen.
I think that's something for us as a couple. We've been really lucky that we're people of action somehow, right? We make a decision, and it may be a crazy decision, but once we've made it, we're going for it. Full steam ahead.
That's great. I love it. And now, how have you dealt with the people that have thought you're crazy? I'd love to hear this answer from people.
Well, most people though have been super excited, and what I've heard most often is, "Oh my God, I've wanted to do that. That's on my bucket list. I really want to do that." And people are really excited about that, about the fact that we're doing it. But of course, my father now, he's decided he doesn't want to talk to us anymore because he's not happy with his decision. So, that's sad, right? So, or our life, right? I think,
I think by and large, we maybe people are just not telling us. Maybe they go home and say, "Boy, they're crazy. I could never do that. I would never want to do that." But to our faces anyway, we really haven't had, with the exception of his father, we really haven't had anyone say to us, "It's a bad idea." Now, we're not out, but we may change our mind in 3 months or 6 months of the year. We don't know either, right? How this is all going to shake out in the end. but we had to do it. And I think most people are very supportive of it, and think we are going to have a great time. It's going to be a great experience for us. So, so we haven't had to work through that. I'm sure other people have had to work through that with their families or friends, but for us, it's really stay safe.
No, that's great.
I know my brother mentioned, he has 2 small kids and one on the way, and he's just like, oh my God, this is such a small space when he looks at our trailer, right? And I think when you have little busy ones, it would be harder. We're lucky because our daughter's a little bit older, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not quite as busy.
Yeah, I've got 2 little ones under 5, so they're going to be busy in the trailer and lots of toys and things. So I think that's the other thing with having an older daughter is that you don't have as many toys and coloring books and things to keep them busy, right? I think I can see that, and when they're even more young, they have the extra things like the toilet training seats and the high chairs and the special sleeping things. And, so we're waiting till our kids are a little bit, so almost 2. So we're out of the high chair, we're out of the crib and all those kind of things, because that would be challenging, I think, in the trailer for sure. Yeah, well, it sounds like you guys have got blessings from everyone. Everyone's excited for you. I'm excited for you. And thank you for sharing with us like a couple days before you go, because this is really awesome to be right in the middle of it with you. So thanks for being on the RV There Yet podcast today with us. You guys keep us in touch. Keep in touch with us as you travel along. We'd love to hear about your ventures. And if you guys want to follow along, it's rv365.com is your guys' blog that you're going to be blogging from on your venture, right?
Actually, RV365 Life.
Oh, a life in there. Okay, so rv365life.com. Sorry about that. And make sure we will link it below, but make sure you guys follow along on their adventure. And don't forget to check out their summit interview with us on the RV Family Summit coming up. So thanks so much, you guys, for being with us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Ciao.